The Airbnb Way, a professional audiobook adaptation of Joseph Michelli's leadership principles, adapted and narrated by Day Audio. Motivation, mindset, growth. Before the first booking, before the app, before the world even knew its name, Airbnb began with a very human impulse to help. A few friends in San Francisco opened their doors to strangers who needed a place to stay, and in doing so, they unknowingly opened a new way of thinking about business itself. This story is not only about innovation, it's about intention. It asks a timeless question. What if success in business came from serving others well? The Airbnb Way is a study of that question, and how 5 guiding forces, belonging, trust, hospitality, empowerment, and community, reshaped an industry and inspired millions around the world. Every lasting company begins with a belief. For Airbnb, that belief was simple yet revolutionary. People don't just need a place to stay, they need a place to belong. In a world where technology often replaces human contact, Airbnb reminded us that connection is still the ultimate luxury. The company built its foundation not on real estate, but on relationships, on the idea that every person, no matter who they are or where they come from, deserves to feel welcome. This first part explores how belonging became Airbnb's heartbeat, from designing human-centered experiences to creating a global sense of home, one host and one guest at a time. Section 1. Make it a people business. At the heart of Airbnb's success lies a truth that too many companies forget. Business is personal. For Airbnb, growth didn't come from algorithms, ads, or expansion. It came from people. From its first hosts in San Francisco to millions across the globe, Airbnb recognized that behind every booking is a human story. Airbnb's leaders built their model not around property management, but relationship management. Every design choice, policy, and product decision flowed from a simple question: how do we make people feel like they belong? When Brian Chesky and Joe Gebbia started the company, they weren't hoteliers or tech veterans. They were designers, and that difference mattered. Designers start with empathy. They imagine what it feels like to be on the other side of the experience. Airbnb was built on that mindset, empathy at scale. Chesky often said, "Culture is simply a shared way of doing something with passion." From day one, Airbnb cultivated a culture obsessed with belonging. They weren't just filling rooms, they were helping guests feel connected to the world. That focus on belonging created a new kind of loyalty. Guests returned not only because the price was fair or the listing was beautiful, but because they felt seen and welcomed. Guiding principle: make it a people business. The company's product is not homes, it's human connection. When people become your central metric, innovation follows. Employees become advocates, customers become communities, and the brand becomes an experience worth sharing. Section 2. Create belonging. If the first section is about putting people first, this one reveals how Airbnb turned that idea into a global movement. The company's mission, to create a world where anyone can belong anywhere, isn't just marketing language, it's a declaration of intent. It redefines hospitality as something deeper than comfort. Belonging means you're accepted, understood, and valued. Belonging shaped everything from product design to community policy. Airbnb didn't ask, "How do we make this convenient?" It asked, "How do we make this feel like home?" The difference is emotional. Convenience satisfies, but belonging transforms. From personalized welcome notes to culturally sensitive design, Airbnb taught its hosts to consider details through the lens of inclusion. When the platform faced criticism about discrimination, the company responded with action, partnerships, policy shifts, and the We Accept campaign. proving belonging is a responsibility, not a slogan. Through belonging, Airbnb turned a transaction into a connection. Hosts became ambassadors of community. Guests became participants in a shared world. When people feel like they belong, they give their best, whether they're customers, employees, or partners. Belonging cannot exist without trust. When Airbnb first invited people to stay in strangers' homes, the world hesitated. Could safety and openness coexist? Could technology make empathy scalable? Airbnb's leaders believed they could, if trust was treated as both design and philosophy. This part examines how the company engineered safety, transparency, and communication into its DNA, proving that trust isn't a byproduct of good service, it is the service. Section 3. Design for Trust and Safety. In the early days, one question loomed over everything. Can strangers really trust one another? Letting someone you've never met stay in your home or sleeping in theirs seemed impossible. Yet trust became Airbnb's most valuable currency. Trust was not an afterthought, it was the product. A beautiful home means nothing if guests don't feel safe and hosts don't feel protected. Airbnb embedded trust into every layer: verified IDs, secure payments, transparent reviews. Every click, message, and policy reduced uncertainty and built confidence between strangers. Like city planners who design for safety and connection, Airbnb created digital infrastructure that made trust not just possible, but expected. The result: a global network comfortable inviting others into their homes, guided by clear systems and shared accountability. Leaders everywhere can learn this. Trust must be intentionally designed, not merely hoped for. Section 4. Practice helpful disclosure. Trust thrives on transparency, but transparency without care can be reckless. Helpful disclosure is the art of being open in a way that builds confidence rather than fear. When something goes wrong, a power outage, a missing key, or a maintenance issue, the best hosts respond immediately and honestly. They don't hide behind excuses, they communicate with empathy and clarity. Airbnb's systems reward honesty, mutual reviews, clear messaging, and empowered support teams that act for fairness. Leadership mirrors this behavior. When facing challenges, great leaders communicate directly, explain what went wrong, and outline how they'll fix it. People don't expect perfection, they expect honesty. Helpful disclosure builds emotional safety and proves that trust is not just about security systems, it's about sincerity. At its essence, hospitality is love expressed through care. While hotels offered comfort, Airbnb sought something deeper, a sense of welcome that couldn't be standardized. By elevating small gestures, designing for delight, and thinking beyond expectations, the company redefined what it means to serve. Hospitality here is not about luxury, it's about human warmth, the feeling that someone prepared a space not just for your body, but for your spirit. Section 5. Be a host. Hospitality is not a job title, it's a mindset. The true heart of the company isn't the technology, but the human act of hosting. Everyone is a host. The person greeting guests, the designer shaping an interface, the agent resolving a support ticket. A true host doesn't just provide a place to stay, they create a moment to remember. From handwritten notes to local recommendations, small gestures create big emotional returns. Great companies don't just serve customers, they host them, anticipating needs and ending interactions with gratitude instead of obligation. By instilling this belief at every level, Airbnb transformed millions of ordinary people into extraordinary hosts and redefined service. Section 6. Think magical and memorable. Don't just meet expectations, Create magic. Design every touchpoint, from confirmation emails to goodbye messages, as a chance to deliver delight. Chesky's 11-star experience exercise pushed teams beyond normal and into extraordinary. What if the host greeted guests at the airport, left a personalized gift, made the property tell a story? Guests remember connection more than square footage. They remember warmth, authenticity, and amazement. When businesses craft memories, not just products, relationships last beyond the transaction. Thinking magically means refusing to settle for average. Every guest experience is an opportunity to inspire wonder. Belonging and trust create the foundation. Hospitality brings it to life. But empowerment is what allows it all to grow. Airbnb's future depended on millions of hosts, employees, and guests acting with confidence, creativity, and ownership. This part explores how systems encouraged initiative, rewarded authenticity, and treated every person as a leader within the movement. Empowerment is how vision becomes culture, and culture becomes impact. Section 7. Maximize impact. Empowerment is trust in action. Airbnb's founders learned they couldn't manage every listing or define every experience. To grow, they transferred ownership to the community. Hosts became entrepreneurs. Designers became decision-makers. Support agents became brand guardians. Frameworks, clear principles, policies, and design standards empowered people to act confidently on their own. When people feel trusted, they don't just perform, they invest themselves. That's how you create lasting impact. Give others the power to lead from where they stand. Section 8. Claim and share your value. Empowerment also means recognizing your own value. In Airbnb's world, hosts are partners in a shared mission. Your space has value, your story has value, your hospitality has value. Education, analytics, and community forums let hosts learn from one another, turning isolated individuals into a global peer network. When people see their worth, and it's acknowledged, they naturally want to share it. Value multiplies when it circulates. Empowerment isn't just a management tool, it's a cultural revolution. Individuals don't wait to be inspired, they become the inspiration. At the end of every great story about belonging stands community. It is the natural result of trust, hospitality, and empowerment. People connected not by transaction, but by shared purpose. For Airbnb, community means being a good neighbor at every scale, in one's city, in one's company, and in the world. Section 9. Serve your neighbor. Community begins with proximity, but it flourishes through service. During natural disasters, Airbnb's Open Homes program enabled hosts to provide free housing to displaced people and frontline workers. This wasn't marketing, it was mission. The same principles that make a neighborhood strong, trust, empathy, shared purpose, make a company resilient. When companies give people a reason to care, they earn loyalty that no advertisement can buy. Section 10. Own goodness. Owning goodness means leading with integrity, even when no one is watching. With influence comes responsibility, to communities, to the environment, and to culture. Airbnb engaged critics, listened to city leaders, and sought balance between opportunity and fairness. Being a good neighbor in business requires humility, owning both the good you create and the harm you might cause, and committing to do better. Integrity is not a brand, it's a behavior repeated daily until it defines who you are. Section 11. To Danville and beyond. Every great movement starts somewhere. For Airbnb, one of those places was Danville, Kentucky, a small town that became a big symbol of what community connection can achieve. Global reach became a catalyst for local pride. Every home, every host, every guest became a thread in a larger tapestry of belonging. That tapestry extends beyond travel into workplaces, schools, and communities everywhere. Belonging isn't tied to geography, it's tied to intention. To go beyond Danville is to lead with empathy, design for trust, host with heart, empower others, and serve with goodness. It means to live, work, and lead the Airbnb way. Epilogue: The Airbnb Way in Everyday Business. Airbnb's story is not about technology or travel. It's about people and the universal desire to belong. Leadership is hospitality. Trust is strategy. Belonging is growth. The future of business isn't built on transactions, it's built on relationships. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a manager, or a creator, design your own version of belonging. Make every interaction a moment of connection and every decision a reflection of care. In the end, success isn't measured by how many people book your service. It's measured by how many people believe in your purpose. Thank you for listening to The Airbnb Way, adapted and narrated by Day Audio. If you enjoyed this audiobook, please subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories that inspire motivation, mindset, and growth, one day at a time.